Hi friends, welcome back to my channel SciTaker. Finally friends, I'm back with another interesting comparison and the topic which is about the Poco X3 Pro versus Realme X7 Max device. So which phone is really very powerful and which processor is really best for the gaming and multitasking? That's what I'm going to exactly demonstrate in this video. So this is a question of which I'll be getting from a lot of other users as well. So asking me to compare the Snapdragon 860 versus damaged 1200. So that's what I'm going to exactly demonstrate in this video. So which is the best for the gaming and for normal heavy usage? That's what I'm going to exactly say. One quick note. So for the normal user and the medium user, you will not feel any differences between these both phones. So even if you choose either of the phone, you will be really happy with the performance what you get. This video is only dedicated for the next level. I mean pro level and heavy users only. Heavy. That is what I'm questioning, heavy users. So in this kind of testing, first let's start with the basics test. What is the process Snapdragon 860 and Dimensity 1200? What about the another benchmark score? If you talk about the benchmark score, obviously the Realme X1 Max is a clear winner in terms of the benchmarks. There's a difference of close to 1 lakh difference will there between these both phones, as you can say, difference of 1 lakh. So in the benchmarks, no problem at all friends. The Realme X1 Max is clear winner if you care about the benchmarks and all the score, even the Geek benchmark as well, because some people they do trust the Geek benchmark 5 score. That's the reason I'm trying to show the Geek benchmark results what I got in this both phones. Let me open the Geek benchmark. I think yes. So let me open the history and you will be able to see both phones differences, how the both phones got. As you can see, in the single core and the multi-core, Realme X1 Max slightly outperforms the Snapdragon 860. So you should not be worried about the performance wise. So in terms of benchmark wise, the Realme X1 Max. But what about the gaming? So which phone is really good for the Battlegrounds mobile game? That's another most interested question as well. So in terms of the Battlegrounds mobile game, the Realme X1 Max has been updated to the 90 FPS. By default, you can actually play that. In the Poco X3 Pro, right now you cannot play with the 90 FPS by default. At this moment, you only get the 60 FPS option in the Poco X3 Pro. But what about the 60 FPS? Which phone is really good for the 60 FPS? Both phones are really good. Both phones are really stable and really good. Not a problem if you try to play at 60 FPS. No issues at all. But in the Realme X1 Max at the moment, the real-time FPS is capped at only 70 FPS. You cannot play above 70 FPS. As you can see right now, you're getting only 70 FPS. So for some reasons, I think maybe because of the heating issues and battery draining problems, maybe the Realme did limit this kind of potential. So right now you can only play at 70 FPS in this Realme X1 Max overall, even if you select 90 FPS. But for the as a future-proof option, so if you want to have the 90 FPS, you can definitely choose the Realme X1 Max. But for 60 FPS, it doesn't make much difference. Maybe you need to consider the screen size. So 6.61 is the screen size and the weight of this phone is I think close to, let me need to check the weight, because that also matters a lot. If you're trying to do long-time gaming, the weight of the phone, so you should not feel kind of heavy. 216 grams versus this one, I think 170 or somewhere, 190 grams, as you can see, 190 grams in the Realme X1 Max device. So overall, there's a difference of I think close to 26 grams difference is there. That's kind of a little bit kind of huge, I would say. So for a long time, and definitely you will not feel any pain when you're trying to play in the Realme X1 Max with this very light mobile phone. So don't get me wrong, even the Poco X3 Pro is also really good. But if you want that 90 FPS, and maybe in the future Realme can fix it, but right now it's got capped exactly 70 FPS. So that's what I'm hoping, and hopefully they should fix this issue. So that's the one thing about the Battlegrounds mobile game. So in terms of the performance wise and stability and everything, both phones are slightly kind of equal friends. Nothing much major differences you'll be noticing while playing the Battlegrounds mobile game. And what about the another things like CPU throttling test? I'll try to show you the couple of things which let me show you. So when compared with the Realme X1 Max, the Poco X3 Pro is not that stable in the performance levels. It's completely worst. As you can see, the red indication. So it doesn't matter how many times I do, always I do get the red indication only in the Poco X3 Pro device. I think so many times, as you can see friends. So this is a graph about the Poco X3 Pro device. So performance can be not that consistent long run. Whereas the Realme X1 Max, it's kind of not bad, but not as worst as the Realme Poco X3 Pro. You can see the Realme X1 Max, how is the performance and consistency. It was able to maintain sometimes green as well. You can see how it's consistent. So this is, I think, this test which I did when the battery is very low, I think so. But overall, most of the time, it will maintain really good, stable. As you can see, friends, these are the results about the CPU throttling test if you want to know about the throttling results and everything. In the benchmarks and in the throttling and in the Battlegrounds mobile 90 FPS, updated everything, the Realme X1 Max is slight winner. So that's no doubt at all. Next, what about the video editing applications? So because this will also prove how powerful the chipsets are, because using these applications we can actually determine what is happening with the video editing applications. That's the reason I did include couple of applications as well. So these are the KineMaster application. Let's start here at same time in both phones. So this is the 1080 to 1080 I'm trying to render, and you will be able to compare both devices if you're trying to use the KineMaster application. So Dimensity 1200 and the Snapdragon 860 chipset. So few applications are optimized for few type of processors, like few apps are designed for the Snapdragon, few apps for the Dimensity. So in that case, you need to decide which app you are trying to use. Right now I'm trying to use the KineMaster application, and you can see the difference. But if you use the high performance mode in the Realme X7 Max, it makes slightly a difference in this device if you use the high performance mode. That's the one thing you should definitely understand. So right now I'm not using any kind of I think I'm using high performance mode. As you can see the indication high performance mode is on. So if you use high performance mode, you will definitely get the really good result. So right now in the KineMaster rendering application, the Realme X7 Max did not perform well, but I did include plenty of other editing applications, so we'll try to test other things. In the KineMaster application, maybe the Poco X3 Pro might be slightly optimized. So if you want to do this kind of editing and everything, you can prefer the Poco X3 Pro. And if you are using KineMaster application, Realme X7 Max, I think finished. So overall, we got to know in the KineMaster application, the Poco X3 Pro did win. And next application is Adobe Premiere Rush. I'll try to open this application and let's try using this application. Let's see what's gonna happen. And I'm trying to render at same time and same settings, same file. 1080 to 1080 while I'm trying to do the exporting. Let's start at same time. So both phones I did start at same time, and you will be able to see the percentage how it's happening, as you can see. So that's why I said few apps are designed for the Snapdragon process, really optimized. Few apps are not optimized. So in this application, you can see the Realme X7 Max is performing really good than the Snapdragon 860. So this is the one thing, friends. If you're trying to plan to buy any kind of smartphone, you should check all these things before actually buying. What is your need? So which application do you use? Which games do you play? All those are supported and optimized for your phone or not. So that's the one thing you should definitely check it. You can see the clear proof what is happening. In the KineMaster, the Poco X3 Pro was able to perform really good, but in this Adobe Premiere Rush, it's not performing that great. So we cannot definitely justify, and we cannot come into the conclusion based upon one application saying that the phone is not worth. So we cannot come that in the conclusion. So we need to use multiple applications just to clear what is happening here. You can clearly see the Realme X7 Max, Dimensity 1200 and Snapdragon 860. It's winning the race. You can clearly see the difference, how much it is. So let's try with another application. Let's try cancel it. And next video editing application is the PowerDirector. These are another application which a few of the users also requested me to use. I'm trying to export the same video file itself in both phones. Let me try to do that, and is a video file and edit the project. Same video file I'm trying to use, 1080 video clip only in both phones. I'm trying to export into 720 resolution because 1080 is paid, so that's the reason. And both are 30 fps. I did select exactly same bitrate, nothing much change between both phones. Now let's see what happens. So let's see which phone can actually do better in the PowerDirector. So both phones ads are coming, and so both phones are loading at this moment, and you will be able to see the performance levels, how fast it is in the Realme X7 Max. As you can see, friends, in the Realme X7 Max, it's performing really fast. So few apps are designed, as I said, for the Dimensity and few for the Snapdragon. So final conclusion is that if you can get the Realme X7 Max price close to 20,000, then the Realme X7 Max is the best deal. If you can get the Poco X3 Pro for the lower price, then you can buy the Poco X3 Pro. If you don't have the budget to spend for the Realme X7 Max, then you can definitely go for the Poco X3 Pro. If you have the budget and if you are confused between these two phones, you can definitely choose the Realme X7 Max. It's finished. The rendering has been done, as you can see, but the Poco X3 Pro is still taking some time. So this is a quick comparison, friends, between both phones in terms of the processors wise and the performance and everything. I hope you got a clear idea what is going on. So do not underestimate any phone you just based upon one application or one game. So you need to do plenty of research before actually deciding which phone is the best. But whatever it is, for this price 16,999, this is the best option for the lowest price. for the 21,000 and this kind of 20 to 30,000 segment, this is the best option what you can actually get. The only thing we are not sure what will be the price of this phone during the big billion days sale. If the price will not decrease and if there is no offer on this phone, then you can choose this phone itself, Poco X3 Pro. That's it, friends. Thank you for watching this video. This is a complete conclusion, and I hope I did clear all the doubts whatever you're having between these both phones. And see you in the next video. Until then, stay tuned for more updates. Meanwhile, signing off. Bye.